press, there's more social media activity, and you cannot put a causal connection between that activity and what Mr. Waldman said.
It can be the instigating event, if you want me to call it that. We'll call the Waldman statements the instigating event of a torrential rain of social media tactics that has gone on for years. Yeah.
Fuck off.
The instigating event, and therefore your damage analysis with some degree, I guess, of reasonable certainty is that once there's an instigating event, everything that happens thereafter is fair game for damages?
Well, it's like a fire. If one tree burns and then more air or wind is added to it, then the next tree burns and the whole forest burns. But if that first fire hadn't started with the one tree, there would have been no loss of acreage. So you can look at it with that same analogy.
Trees burn one at a time, don't they, ma'am?
You know, I'm not a firefighter. I'm not going to go there with you, but obviously we know that a single match can cause thousands of acres to burn. So leave it at that.
I think I went there with you. All right, let's do this.
He's far too happy, that guy.
You decided that there were a number of persons that you described as comparable. In order to determine
Oh yeah, he's doing it.
Oh no.
No, he's doing it.
Ms. Heard was likely to make over time, correct?
Yes.
All right. Of those comparable
Here we
actors
go.
and actresses, is there a single one who has had any press suggesting that they defecated in the Maryland?
This guy is a savage. What do you think?
Okay.
Fucking savage.
You would agree with me
Oh my god.
that is a negative
You alright down there?
influence.
Oh my god.
with respect-
Recover, man. Recover.
Holy
If one believed
shit.
it, yes.
Yeah, if one believed it, you know, it was reported.
Holy fuck, man. This guy is...
Yeah. It certainly has been discussed. We don't have any
Oh
proof
my
or video of
The guy's that
anybody
savage. He's
defecating
actually
in
wrinkled
bed.
a Botox. Have you seen that?
I certainly do not have proof video of anybody getting in bed. I'll give you that.
That's a good thing.
Is he flirting with her?
So,
Oh my god.
what you know is that Mr. Wallman didn't say anything about defecating in a
Bro,
bed.
this is ridiculous.
It's fucking funny though.
So, all of the bad publicity around
Holy
that
shit.
activity has nothing to do with Waldman, right?
I can't believe this.
Waldman, as you said, didn't talk about defecation.
Okay.
Exactly.
And you haven't
That's the
considered
point.
how that story has adversely impacted Miss Heard's
No
career.
way he's gonna go for 5.
That story,
No
you've
way.
been asking me for a causation.
Oh, he's got it.
Between that poop story
Brace
and
yourself.
her demise of her career, I can't. No, I'm not going to do that. Nor can I.
You couldn't do it.
She can.
Can I make it? No.
No way he's gonna go for
And you
5.
can't do
I
it
think
with
he's going
Waldman's
to.
statements either, can you?
Well, again,
The
I
poop
did, and I
story?
have, and I
It's
stand
4.5.
by them. So
You-
He's doing it.
By just pointing out
Oh,
that
God.
time frame are relatively close.
the time
That's
frame
true.
and the instigation and if you will, the rallying of the forces. Again, it's like a lit tree. It's going to ignite everything. It's like free game afterwards. So it was the instigating event, if you will. And that's what I looked at. Yes.
All right, so from your perspective, anything that happened after Waldman that was negative to your client is attributable to Waldman and therefore attributable to the damage analysis that you made.
That's a
I
lot.
was tasked with looking at that specifically, and that's what I was asked to limit it to. I was not asked to look at anything else.
All right.
That's different.
Jason Momoa. That's one of your comparables, right?
Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
He's been prominent since 1999. He was in Baywatch in 99.
Fuck.
Didn't know that.
No way.
44 episodes on Baywatch.
Fuck. Really? Shit.
You can look it up if you did. I'll go with that.
Right. But you remember him on Baywatch.
Actually,
No.
I watch Baywatch, but
All right.
he certainly had the physique for it. So
Stargate,
I saw him in Stargate
He's
Atlantis.
on that.
I remember Atlantis.
Episodes.
Right?
Did you know that?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay. He played Conan the Barbarian.
Yes, he
Oh,
did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. I didn't like that one.
Film.
It's a film.
Okay.
Nah, it wasn't that good.
I
heard it
don't have
wasn't that
Mr. Momoa's resume memorized, so
No, I'm just trying to understand how you came to the conclusion they're comparable, because I'm just want to spend a few minutes talking about Mr. Momoa's career.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones was one of the most popular things on TV.
I heard about that
for
show.
a period
Not
of
including the
3
last
years,
season, though.
correct?
yes,
A
he was.
period of
And he
3
was in Game of
years.
Thrones.
Yes, he was.
Yep. And
To sneak
he's
this,
Aquaman,
dude.
right?
Yes, he is.
Right. He's the title character in Aquaman.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And he was actually Aquaman in a movie before the Aquaman movie started.
That's true.
You mean
know
the
that?
Justice League and other
Yes.
things like
Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. Wasn't he in that as Aquaman?
that. I didn't see that one.
Didn't see it.
No.
Miss Heard wasn't in that movie, was she?
No.
Not that I know of, no.
No.
I don't even remember him
And he
being
was
in
in
that
both
movie.
Justice League movies.
Correct.
He was also in Peacemaker
And he's in
series.
Aquaman 2.
Right.
Yes.
They used him in the second Lego movie. Right?
Shit.
Yes.
Dune.
Still gonna watch
He's
Dune.
one of the most heroic characters in the recent Dune blockbuster.
Very true.
What happened post Aquaman?
He was even
Right.
cloned multiple times because of how heroic
In
he
fact,
was, according to the lore.
likely he's
He's not the lead though.
no.
In Dune, no, he's not the lead.
Did you ever read Dune?
Pardon?
Did you ever read Dune?
No, but I've seen the movie.
You've seen one of the movies.
Do you understand whether his character will come back from the dead in the third movie?
It will.
As again, I didn't read the book, so he might. I don't know.
That might just-
We're just talking about that one movie.
That
so
might be a
that's
bit of a spoiler.
A
man.
bit.
No.
Dude.
No way. Yeah.
He's one of the principal leads
cloned multiple
in the new
times.
Fast and Furious franchise movie Fast X, right?
Duncan Idaho.
I
That's
don't
his name.
know that for sure, no.
Okay. But that's not the career path that Ms. Heard has had. She's never been the title character in a movie.
That's a good way
she
to say
hasn't
it.
spent years on television. She did, what, 8 TV shows? 8 single episodes of TV?
Again, I don't have her resume. If you want to show it to me, we can count them together.
You're supposed to know it. You cited it earlier, you dozy
Oh, he says
bitch.
that.
Mr. Momoa
Holy shit.
remains well-liked even though he's engaged in a recent divorce from another actor.
That's very
That's correct,
true.
right?
I don't know. I don't follow his fan base.
You don't follow Jason Momoa, but you use him as a comparable to come up with a 45.
I said I don't follow his fan base. I understand him as a prominent actor in the business.
You
but I
don't. You've missed
follow
out
his-
loads of
But,
shit.
like, his social
Isn't the
activities
fa-
would be
isn't
relevant.
fan base one of the things that you analyze?
Of course, you can
Yeah.
look at numbers, but I don't keep a watch on his social media feeds.
All right.
All right. Oh my God.
All right. You
All right.
indicated that Gal Gadot is in Wonder Woman.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
Yes, she's a star.
She's in fact Wonder Woman.
I know she's good too.
Yeah. All right. She's
Wow.
the title character, and there's been now multiple Wonder Woman movies, right?
True. I heard the second
Yes.
one was not good.
And even before that,
haven't
she was
seen
in
it.
franchise films.
Which one are you referring
But
to?
her ass is still amazing.
Excuse me, I honestly don't remember her being that as
Yeah, I
one of the
don't
main
remember her in that
characters. I know it's The Rock and that
You
whole crew.
didn't even know she was in the Fast and Furious franchise.
I've seen it on her resume, but I didn't. Again, I'm not a fan of the Fast and Furious.
All right. You'll agree with me that Wonder Woman is a more
doesn't like
prominent
family.
role than Mira?
If you're going to talk about apples to apples in that exact movie, yes.
All right. What about, does Mira have any, self-titled franchise films?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
And Ms. Gadot played a much bigger role in the movie they were in together, the Justice League movie.
In what movie they were in together? Oh, in Justice League?
Yeah.
She did, yeah.
I haven't counted the screen time, so I can't really
Oh my
say.
God.
She was in the Justice League. Mara's not.
You
How's that even a
indicated
question?
That another person that you compared Ms. Heard with is Zendaya.
Zendaya, yeah.
Person so famous she goes by one name.
I guess when you have a name that's a Z, it works, I guess.
Right. She's been on the Disney Channel since she's 13 years old,
Right.
right?
Oh,
She's won an Emmy.
you're in here.
Yeah, we're just watching the Amber Heard trial with Asmogold.
Was singing and dancing and swimming from trapezes in The Greatest Showman, right?
It's a
Yes.
lot.
Yeah. She's now been in multiple Spider-Man movies.
There it is.
Yes?
Also
She's
in
10
Dune.
years younger than your client.
Oh, you fucked.
But this is a person that you deemed incomparable.
Well, as I was explaining to you how I chose them, when you look at superhero characters, there's not that many to pull from. So I just I worked on pulling characters that were in superhero movies
here
that
we
were
go.
about the same age
Here we
range
go.
within 10 years.
How
as
bad
you-
is it now?
We're
noted.
circling.
Oh
the
man,
drain.
it's bad.
And also just
This
where
woman
her
came
career
out,
had
tried to
gone.
roast
I
her,
said that they were
Johnny
comparables,
Depp,
they're
and
not
now in the
identical. So
cross-examination,
you can just
she's falling apart.
look
You might
at
want to.
what they-
I'm streaming live on
done
Twitch if you
either
want to watch.
before that superhero movie, then in others,
Uh,
or the one they were in,
yeah.
and then you look at where her career should have gone. Even though she may not have been at the stature of a Zendaya at that time, you can still look at it as a comparable trajectory.
Not
That
even
happens
slightly
when you
close
bring
to
a blockbuster
comparable,
movie.
man.
It's just a reference point. It's not meant to be identical. They're not meant to be the same people, or not even have the exact same career. It's meant to be a reference point. Simple as that.
So far, everybody we've looked at have been in more blockbuster movies than Ms. Heard.
But Miss Heard was also in the biggest blockbuster movie, and the light that shines on Jason Momoa will also shine on her.
Apparently
so you
not.
have to look at it in context of the biggest movie that
In the
DC
DC
Comics is,
universe.
and also one of the biggest box office films ever, probably within the top 10 because I've looked at
24,
it. Right, so
number
that
24.
light was going to shine brighter on her.
Hey, Spectre,
than
drive
someone who
safe.
wasn't in that
She's
movie.
not happy
And again,
about
it would've
this.
just
She
helped
looks like
her
she's been
and
slapped with a
her
wet
career
fish.
not
Look at the
stalled
state of her
and
face, man. Look at it.
her world be silent afterwards.
For the jury to accept your damage analysis,
You got sound bleed through there badly. Okay, no problems.
Precipice of a meteoric rise. That's the word you used, right?
Actually, no, I didn't. I did use meteoric with someone like, let's say, Gal Gadot or Zendaya, but I actually gave you a range and gave the jury a range that they weren't all going to have a meteoric
No, you
rise. Some of
didn't.
them would be
You
smaller,
fuck
right?
off, you lying
And
bitch.
so, with the numbers that I gave you, do not represent a meteoric rise. A meteoric rise is when Jason Momoa goes from, I don't know, 4 million, 5 million to a $50 million payday.
That's a
That's
lot.
a meteoric shift in our business. But when someone has contracts that actually go from 1 million to the first one, 2 million, and then 4 million.
No, there was no
that
mention of
is
the 4
standard
million.
For a franchise that is perceived to do well. And so I based those calculations on very specific numbers that were already contracted. I wanted to stay within reality and look at the numbers that were already contracted for Ms. Heard and just move out forward.
She was contracted to a
One
2
film
million
year,
contract,
maybe a
nothing
TV
more.
show here or there, and some endorsement contracts, which is very typical for an actor in our business to make that kind of money. It just is what happens.
So the example you just used is somebody went from 1 million to 2 million to 4 million. Your client has never had a contract that exceeds $2 million.
See?
Incorrect.
No, you lie.
In the Aquaman it's actually the Justice League contract because they're associated. So Justice League, Aquaman, she was paid $1 million.
Yeah.
And then in Aquaman 2, it was written that she was going to earn $2 million. And if there's another one, it was written in the terms that she would get $4 million. So it actually was a contract that Ms. Heard signed with the studio.
Right.
That's an
but the movie
option.
hasn't been made.
Aquaman 2 hasn't even come out yet, so the
Right.
third one is still on deck, as they say.
Yeah.
She also said that Johnny Depp couldn't use that for Pirates 6.
Probably not going to be a
Let's
Justice
put it
League 2.
differently. Your client's never been paid $2 million for a movie she appeared in.
She was paid $2 million for Aquaman.
Right.
Aquaman 2.
And she's never been paid $4 million.
She was contracted to be
She
paid.
was never
and
paid
when the
it.
movie goes, that's what she will be paid. So that's what I said. She was
If
on
she's
the...
in the movie.
They pledged $4 million.
Right, but if Aquaman 2 does...
Like
if
she
you do as
pledged.
well as
She is
Aquaman
very
1, there's going
upset.
to most likely be a third one. So we can look at that as a precedent that was set
No, you can't.
in writing.
No.
Uh-huh.
If a movie makes $795 million,
That's a lot.
you think there's likely to be a next one?
If it was the first or the second one, but if it's the fifth in the series, I assume that you're referring to Pirates 5.
Yeah.
It performed well at the box office, yes, but certainly not in comparison to some of the other ones. And that's what a studio like Disney will look at to say, has that franchise had its run? Or do we need
A
to change it?
studio
or stop
like
it?
Disney wants to walk away from an $800 million payday?
Well, an $800 million payday has to be put into context to the budget that it cost to get that movie and then the marketing thereafter. And with the increasing costs in not only Mr. Depp's fees or any of the, and plus the other actors' fees, plus general production costs that are getting more expensive, then you put in the marketing costs, which are sometimes 1, 2, or 3 times the budget of the film. A film like that, a studio can spend $600-800 million just making and marketing the film. So $795 million is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it seems like a really good box office, but you have to put into perspective of what's spent on production, marketing, and the overhead costs that the studio takes. So you have, again, it's all in context of what the budget of the film and the marketing of the film is.
All right, let's put some more
She
things
didn't
in
even
context.
consider
Ana de
merchandising,
Armas.
which is huge for Disney.
another one you
and
used.
especially
Yes.
Pirates of the Caribbean. She
So-
didn't even take that into consideration.
That's because they get
Most
too much
recently,
money.
I guess in Deep Water with Ben Affleck.
Again, I know some of the movies that she's been in. I don't remember about Deep Water. I don't even know if that's out yet.
Okay.
To be honest.
She was in the last James Bond movie.
Yes, she was.
Yeah. They were talking about making her the next female Bond, right?
Right after her big Stars Born moment, yeah, she's gotten a lot more big roles, which is what we had hoped for Miss Heard.
Yeah. And you said that her breakout role was Blade Runner?
I don't know who this is.
It was like the first big, studio movie that got a lot of attention. I believe that was the one that we can look at as.
I think
as
Blade
an
Runner, she was the hologram actress.
Did you watch Blade Runner 2049?
Who was it? I'm gonna look
I
her
did.
up. She's hot.
Do you know what she did in the movie?
It was years ago. I don't remember exactly what she was in, what role she played, but she was in that movie, and from that,
Wow.
her agents used that as leverage to get her more movies.
You have no knowledge that her principal role in that movie was as a gigantic naked billboard?
Oh shit! Really?
Are you saying that's the only thing she was? She was a gigantic naked billboard. She
I
wasn't
said
in the
that's the
movie.
principal role in that movie.
I don't remember the movie.
Nice, her.
Okay. And did you know that she was? I talked a little bit about Ben Affleck, right?
Right.
He's an interesting example because he's been in a role that's been recast multiple times. You know that role?
We're talking about Batman?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Batman.
sure.
All right.
Right.
So the title character in that DC series has seen how many actors?
Several.
Three.
Michael Keaton,
Nah, about 5 or 6.
Batman?
Val Kilmer.
You're a movie buff, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my.
7 or 8 actually.
Christian Bale was Batman.
I think he was, you're right.
George Clooney was Batman.
Oh my
Definitely.
god.
9?
Oh
Is
my
Robert
god.
Pattinson
Holy
is now
shit.
Batman.
Yep. Robert Pattinson.
Don't know.
Adam West.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can't count
do you
Adam
know
West
that?
for the movies.
An absolutely iconic role.
Adam West
that
did
the
an original
DC
movie
universe
for
has
Batman.
recast 4,
Nerd.
5, 6 times, correct?
Correct.
So just because you have the role in the first movie or the second movie doesn't mean it, you get it in the third movie or the fourth movie.
Yeah.
Unless it's contractual.
Right. Unless it's contractual. So, now, let's look. Oh, Ana de Armas, she's like the new Marilyn Monroe on Netflix, too, right?
I believe so. She was also in Knives Out, which is probably even a bigger breakout role for her. But again, I chose Blade Runner because it's a similar thing. You have to start somewhere. But Knives Out probably was her big moment in time.
Yeah. All right. The other person you picked was Chris Pine.
Oh.
Chris Pine is in a superhero movie, Wonder Woman.
But
he is in Wonder Woman. He's also, well, Star Trek being a blockbuster, but not necessarily a superhero, right?
That was a huge one.
He was in both Wonder Woman movies, right?
Yes, he plays the love interest to Gal Gadot,
Yeah.
Right.
On Star Trek, in the Star Trek franchise,
Wait, Captain Kirk? The main
he plays
guy?
Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't remember exact role that he played. I didn't see it.
He just told you the role. Captain Kirk.
Do you know who Captain Kirk is?
Yes, I do.
Right.
Well,
But you didn't know that Chris Pine is Captain Kirk in Star Trek?
Jane's
I
Tiberian.
hate to
Kirk.
say I'm not.
Okay. But
I'm
you
gonna be
used
honest, like, the
Mr.
old ones were
Pine
terrible.
as an example,
never
irrespective
liked
of the
them.
fact you didn't even know.
Asmogold, that's fucking mean, man.
I did know that he starred. That's why I used it. Again,
But just
But
another
we
context of what he
we can go over this a couple more times, and I'm happy to do so. All I wanted to do was look at, from a small pool of people that have been in huge franchise movies or superhero movies, and give you a sense of what the range is or what some.
Yeah, but Amber Heard's
projections can be.
range is
Again,
not that.
They are not apples and apples. They're not both green apples or both red apples. I just was looking at a range. It's what we do. It's what we do in the industry. It's what you do to kind of.
She aimed high and
get a
got
sense of
fucked.
How much you're going to pay an actor,
Yeah.
what they're worth in the foreign markets and the
Ma'am,
domestic
I think
markets.
my question was, did you know whether he was in Star Trek?
Yes, and you were asking me why I chose him, which is what this conversation is about. Again, I chose him because he was part of Star Trek and Wonder Woman, but mostly because he was in Wonder Woman. And I don't know the
Mostly.
exact time frame of
Oh,
which came first, but the fact that
You didn't know what came first?
in both of them is consistent with what actors of this ilk tend to do once they're in a movie like this.
Try Star Trek.
You talked about
How
breakout
do you
roles,
not
but you don't
know
know
that?
which was his breakout role.
This woman's supposed to work in Hollywood. How
He's been
thick
an
is she?
actor. He's been a well-liked actor. He was in both Star Trek and in Wonder Woman.
I think Star Trek.
And
Did a
Star
movie
Trek
with Denzel
starred-
Washington?
Pardon?
Did a movie with Denzel Washington?
He's had a good career.
Yeah, great career.
Yeah, I felt like that was like the
Much
movie
longer career
I knew him.
than Ms. Hurt, right?
She was on the precipice of a great career.
Yeah.
She hasn't had the
Precipice.
chance to negotiate that for that yet or be in those movies yet, so we don't know yet.
We're getting back to Precipice. Didn't you just deny Precipice a few minutes ago? I thought your testimony was she was on the precipice of meteoric rise. You said, I guess.
I didn't say meteoric. I said consistent. I don't know. She could have a meteoric rise, but I was talking about
my
consistent with
God.
Ms. Heard.
All right.
None of these people shit the bed.
So of the actors you selected, two of them are the title characters in their DC movies. One of them,
One is Aquaman. Who's the other title character?
Gal Gadot.
Wonder Woman, right.
Right.
She's
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. And you mean Jason Momoa? Sure. Yeah.
So you get two title characters. You got James Kirk, and those are the people that you thought were most representative of Ms. Heard.
Again, there are not that many in the pool to pick from. I'm not going to put comparable actors that haven't been in either large, what we call tentpole movies, or franchise movies, or superhero movies. So I wanted to work within those parameters, and that's what I did. So those are the actors I chose, yes. And to
Okay, what the fuck happened? What happened to
One
my...
of the actors you chose had a much longer TV career than Ms. Heard.
again, they were all in superhero or franchise movies that did very, very well at the box office.
And there are tons of
That's
actors
not
and
the only
actresses who are in superhero movies that don't have meteoric rises thereafter.
Look at Ryan
correct?
Reynolds.
Not when they're the lead character with Jason Momoa, but to your point, there are many actors
Green
that
Lantern
have
wasn't
no
that great.
career prior to a breakout role and then have a meteoric career and have had no career prior. So you don't always just look at
Brie
the
Larson,
cast.
yeah.
It's helpful, and with Miss Heard, she had good reviews, so that's what I looked at. But if you look at other actors and they have their first role and all of a sudden they become a superstar from one role. So that happens in our business. It just does.
Yeah, sure.
All right. With respect to your comparable actors, you have no personal knowledge as to how much any of them were compensated over the period you reviewed.
Incorrect.
You have personal knowledge as to who?
Jason Momoa.
And you derive that personal knowledge from talking to somebody?
Yes.
He didn't tell you.
His agent did.
Okay. So what you will rely on what Mr. Momoa's agent told you, but you have you didn't see the contract.
No, his agent is at William Morris as well, so they told me that.
Right. And you've never seen anybody else's contracts as to what they were making.
No, but in 25 years of being in this business, I understand the basis of which actors are paid when they're in blockbuster films and then they're in large budgeted studio films. So it's not a leap to kind of understand where the actor's making. And again, I really didn't want to try to be speculative in my analysis. I wanted to work with the numbers that Amber had contracted for already and just take it from there and said if she had done one movie a year and one series and done product endorsement, that's how I got to the number. So I wasn't looking to take her on a meteoric rise. I wasn't looking to give her the same career as Jason Momoa. I took her numbers that her agents had actually negotiated and worked from there.
When you say you weren't trying to give her the same career as Jason Momoa, the TV program that she most recently did, The Stand, she made $200,000 an episode. That's what you testified to.
Correct.
And in your damage analysis, you give her $1 million an episode had the Waldman statements not occurred. And you do it only because you believe Mr. Momoa has gotten that in something that he's in.
Right.
So you are giving her the same career as Jason Momoa.
That's very
again,
interesting.
With someone like Ms. Heard, who was in a blockbuster film with a team at William Morris, in my discussions with William Morris, that's what they were looking to negotiate for her on other projects. So I got some of that information from her management team directly.
So her agents were looking to get her as much money as possible?
Wow,
I think
can't
that's the
believe
job
that.
of an agent. They usually try to get the most money as possible.
Your testimony is they were looking to get the money for her, but you need somebody willing to pay on the other side of that deal, don't you?
Right, but agents are working with people in the industry and have a pulse on have a finger on a pulse of what's going on. So
Not
they know
always.
who's marketable and what the prices that all the streamers are paying these days.
You haven't seen a single one of the endorsement contracts that you referenced, other than Ms. Heard's?
No, other than, again, what I was talking to William Morris in terms of the
Not
pricing
always.
that they are aware of, not only for their own clients, but what's out in the marketplace, and it's pretty consistent. And I've also worked with other actors on other cases that have gotten similar contracts, so I'm familiar with the rates of endorsement contracts.
You haven't made any reference to the actual earnings of any of these actors.
Again, as you do an analysis, you put together the numbers that you know from both your experience and the marketplace and the agents that are working in the marketplace. So together, that's how I created those numbers, and mostly using Ms. Heard's numbers specifically and giving her a very steady career, which is what she had had prior to Aquaman.
Yeah, and you don't have the prior earnings of any of the actors you looked at other than Ms. Heard's.
Okay.
No, I don't have all the contracts.
No, she's got no idea.
I'm sorry?
You don't have any of that information?
No.
Of course not.
In fact, that information, I guess aside from Mr. Momoa's, is confidential, right?
Nah.
Usually
is,
yes.
NDA.
And the only reason you know anything about Mr. Momoa is that Ms. Heard shares an agent? Or an
Right,
agency?
but I've also been in the industry for many years, and I know what actors get paid. I talk about budgets constantly, so it's not a secret within the industry the amount that actors in those types of movies are paid very, very well.
Very, very well is kind
You're
of...
not currently working as an agent for anyone, are you?
No.
It's one thing to say that, and another to say what number it is, you know? Okay, all right, here we go.
So, the salaries of these comparable actors, did they form some basis for your opinion?
No.
Okay. So your opinion, as I understand it, is that Ms. Heard should have been able to renegotiate an existing contract.
Which is standard in the industry as well as
Sure, yeah.
with her
Yeah.
agent
Do
specifically.
you know if it's standard with Warner Brothers?
I'm sorry?
Do you know if it's standard with Warner Brothers?
I don't know if it's standard at any of the studios, but it is standard for agents to renegotiate, and oftentimes are successful when the film is done. So.
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
that
but
happens.
what you're talking about is there's an existing contract where Ms. Heard has made a promise that she will do the next movie for, in this instance, $2 million, right?
Uh-huh.
Right.
And what the agent is trying to do is to get Warner Brothers to say, hey, you should pay her more than your contract says because you like her? What,
Well, as Ms. Kovacevic said, also, it's standard in the industry. As again, I've been in the industry, I've worked with agents, and I've worked with lots of lawyers, and we have conversations about what is an actor getting, or what can they do, or what are they going to do the next time. So again, it's a standard in practice in the industry, especially when a film is as successful as Aquaman, that the agents will go back and renegotiate. In fact, that was
isn't the
conversation.
standard practice is that they would try to renegotiate, but it's up to the studio?
Sure, but
Yeah,
oftentimes in a movie of such as the nature of Aquaman, they're very successful, usually.
But the entirety of your analysis assumes a renegotiation with a studio for terms that are double what the studio had already got a promise from Ms. Heard she would work for.
Especially for
Correct.
like a secondary character. Like, yeah. Yeah, it's Aquaman, not Aquaman and Mara. Let's be honest.
Have you talked
Aquaman.
to Walter Hamada?
Have I spoken to him? No.
Do you know who he is?
Yes.
Who is he?
He's a senior executive at Warner Brothers, or, yeah, I think he still is there, but certainly at the time of the renegotiation, he was a senior executive.
And do you know whether he's the president of DC-based film productions?
I think that's exactly his title, yeah.
Who's in a better position to determine whether Warner Brothers would renegotiate, you or Mr. Hamada?
As again, I based this on the agents that were talking to Warner Brothers about Mr.
I
Momoa,
wonder.
and they
I
were willing
wonder
to
who
talk
it
to me
is.
about Ms. Heard as well.
Oh, okay, I'm not
So
sure.
I based my information on them.
Uh-oh,
So
she's getting upset. She's getting
the connection
pressed.
should be Mr. Hamada or the agents, not Mr. Hamada and me.
All right. Who's in a better position to know whether Warner Brothers would renegotiate?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Just asking.
I'll sustain the objection. Next
Sorry.
question.
Uh-huh.
Do you review any testimony from Mr. Hamada?
I did.
What did he say?
Did you understand that Mr. Hamada says that they want to hold the lawyers, hold the actors to their deals?
That was a philosophy that he said Warner Brothers had, yes.
Yeah. Did you understand that Mr. Hamada said that nothing Mr. Depp did impacted her compensation?
I don't remember that part of the testimony. You have it available for me to read?
This is going to be the witnesses this week.
You don't know whether Mr. Hamada testified. Did anything Mr.
Read
Depp
the bottom
said
one.
about Amber Heard affect her compensation?
He's teeing this shit up. Yeah, this guy is
Again,
coming on.
You don't remember? That's okay.
I don't recall that testimony, no.
Yep. Oh,
Do
no,
you know
no,
whether
no.
Mr. Hamada indicated whether he even knew who Adam Waldman was?
Again, I don't remember the conversation about Hamada and Waldman or Depp.
Uh-huh.
And you don't remember whether Mr. Hamada made any statements as to whether anything Mr. Waldman said affected Ms. Heard's compensation?
In my experience, studios don't talk about how or why they make decisions based on publicity or conversations. They're not going to try. They're going to be very protective of all their relationships. So that's just natural.
Yeah, unless you can get them to testify under oath at a deposition, right?
Well, even so, they're not going to say anything negative. They may bypass it by being positive, but they're not going to do anything that could potentially damage a relationship that may change or be worthwhile in the future. So that's just what a studio person does.
Mr. Hamada is in the best position to determine whether there were chemistry issues with Ms. Heard.
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
He's the president of the company.
Overruled.
I don't know how involved Mr. Hamada was on a daily basis in terms of chemistry, but I do know that Warner Brothers did a chemistry test with Ms. Heard and Mr. Momoa before she even got the role. She went in and did what they call a chemistry test.
He's
So that
getting
was to
her to
actually see
qualify
whether there
him
was good chemistry
because
between
he's
them.
going to come on.
And evidently there was good chemistry because she was then hired to be the romantic interest. So whatever Mr. Hamada said during his deposition, I look at what actually happened in real life, which is she got the chemistry test and then she got the job.
Evidently?
Yeah, let's look what happened in real life. She went in
Oh, no.
before and took the test.
Jesus, no.
Then she made a movie. Then there was an existing movie under which Warner Brothers could then decide whether there was chemistry, right?
The movie worked. It made over $1 billion, and they're all over the poster. If they didn't think that there was chemistry, they wouldn't have put Ms. Heard on the poster next to Mr. Momoa. So
What?
You know there were multiple posters for the Aquaman movie.
yes,
And that
there always are. That's standard.
And that 3 out of the 4 posters, the standard posters for Aquaman, didn't even feature Miss Heard.
Right. So when you make a poster at the studio, it's normal to have 3 or 4 variations because you want to appeal to different people's perspectives. So you want the romantic poster, you want the action poster, you want the superhero poster. So it's normal for them to have many posters, but the romantic poster was of Ms. Heard and Mr. Momoa.
Duh.
And everyone, and all the others are just of Mr. Momoa.
Like we talked about, it's Aquaman, but she was prominent in the ones that that Warner Brothers wanted to appeal to
prominent in
women
the ones
and
that
to
she
the
was
romantic
in.
interest of the consumer.
Uh-huh. That's crazy.
What movies
She said one of them. Or I think 2.
would Ms. Heard have gotten absent Mr. Waldman's statements?
No, wait. She's actually only in one of them.
Well, the ones we know
Yeah,
about
she's only in one of
specifically
them.
that she was in conversations with was a movie with Gail Garcelle Bernal, I believe that's how you say his name, at Amazon, which is what Ms. Kovacevic said. And she was also in consideration for a movie called Ambulance with Michael Bay.
Two?
But again,
Oh, I only saw one on the Google
after the
search.
Waldman statements, nobody would talk to the agents, and so they weren't able to garner more. Oh, she also had a movie that she was interested in producing that a good friend of hers, or a friend of hers or colleague was doing. So there was at least those 3
She's in all of them. There's sharks there.
But
that I read about.
those were 3 movies that she was being considered for, but you don't know what
Okay.
movie she was going to be in.
Well, again, they stopped the conversation after the statement, so we don't know where they would have gone, of course. But she was in consideration for all of them,
But
and
you're
given her fame from
projecting
Aquaman, that would have helped all those movies. So it would have made a lot of sense.
You're projecting movies way out into the future that you have no knowledge would ever have gotten made.
Yes.
Well, that's what we do when you talk about comparables and economic damages. You talk about the future. That's standard in our industry as a forensic expert and in the industry. That's how movies are financed, as a matter of fact, is by forecasting what happens in the future.
In 5
What
years.
connection do you draw between Mr. Waldman's statements and the reported reduction in Ms. Heard's Aquaman 2 role?
Again, it's just it's the timing of it all. It's the timing of it all. And also, they were going to take her out of the movie after the statements, and they put her back in. And then can I talk about the emails that I read? I'm not sure at this point, but
So, when you say they were going to take her out of the movie, when you have an option, you literally have the option whether to include the actress.
Yes,
Right?
you do.
That's what it means.
correct.
So, they can choose to exercise the option or not exercise the option. Entirely up to them.
Correct.
And they have, that particular studio, to your knowledge, has repeatedly recast even major figures in their DC movies.
We talked about Batman.
What about Superman?
You know, I'm not as, I think I'm more familiar with the Batman actors. I think there have been a couple actors of Superman, but depending on how the movie
Henry
performed,
Cavill, yeah.
if the movie doesn't perform, they'll look for other actors. Or if they want to go a different direction or reboot a franchise, they will look at different actors. So if the
Another
movie's
reason they'll look-
successful, they're not likely to change the actors, especially not in the second one or the third one.
Another reason they'll look for a different actor or actress, if the actor or actress is charged or asking too much money to play the role again, correct?
Yeah, it could happen.
Yes, not in figures under $10 million, but yes.
Yeah. If you're asking for too much money, you might not get your role again.
That's
And
true.
your analysis assumes that Ms. Heard could double her money.
Well, her contracts doubled her money from each one to the next, so it wasn't that large a leap to do that, especially when the agents had told me that that was what had been, they were considering and what they'd been discussing.
All right. You seen the script of Aquaman 2?
Personally,
Yeah.
I did see a draft. I don't know what the date was or when it was or where in the succession of the rewrites it was. I did see one draft, yes.
You don't know what Warner Brothers has in mind for that movie in terms of the kind of movie it's going to be?
Oh, no.
It's a superhero movie.
Right.
Oh,
It's supposed to be
no.
like a buddy comedy, right?
I don't know. I don't know about a buddy comedy. It's an action movie, superhero movie. I don't know.
Who's Patrick Wilson?
Patrick Wilson. I've heard that name in terms of an actor, but I don't know Mr. Wilson.
All right. Do you know if he appears in Aquaman?
Again, I don't know him by name. If you want to show me a picture, I can, or a clip from the movie.
He was the brother, right?
Do you know if Mr. Wilson appears more frequently in Aquaman than your client does?
Yeah.
I didn't count the screen time when I watched the movie. It was a long, even when I watched it again,
This
I
is the
didn't count
expert.
the screen time of anybody else.
I thought he was great in Aquaman.
Did you read the testimony of Mr. Hamada?
We discussed that, yes.
You disregarded all of it in your analysis as to her ability to renegotiate, correct?
All right.
Well, I remember the part where Mr. Hamada said that from time to time they will break their philosophy and renegotiate. It's what they did
From
with
time
Jason
to time.
Momoa and with Gal Gadot. So,
You mean the
that
lead
just
actors?
it coincides with
Huh.
what we know in the industry, which is
Yeah.
it can be done.
It's what they did with the two title characters
Yeah, the two title.
in
Yeah.
the DC universe.
A little
Again,
bit different.
I've worked in the business for a long time, and I've seen a lot of actors renegotiate their careers. I'm sorry, not their careers. Renegotiate their fees.
Yeah.
It's common practice, and it's certainly what the agent will think about first when a movie makes $1 billion+.
Right. Again, you focused on the agent, but it's the studio that pays the bills.
Yes.
Right. All right. Your Honor, I have a fair amount more to do.
Continue.
I'm sorry?
Continue.
Okay. I didn't know if we were going to 5:30 today or not.
Every day is 5:30 day.
Okay.
Oh, she's not
We
excited
may
about
not
this.
Need to get there.
Every day is 5:30
All
day.
right. Perfect.
Oh,
right.
Jesus. She just wants this to be over.
You talked about Ms. Heard's endorsement deal with L'Oreal.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
And that L'Oreal has concerns about using her because every time they try to use her, people respond negatively to her.
Uh-huh. I bet.
People don't. The Depp fan base has responded.
Oh.
Have posted negative things about Ms. Heard
It's the
on
fan
their
base.
campaigns.
It's his
So-
fans. It's not just
Did you
normal
say
people.
the Depp fan base?
Well, people that were using the hashtags that were consistent with the rest of the the
So you
Depp
have to be a
fan base.
fan of Johnny
Yeah, but
Depp to look
there
for
are
justice.
people posting negative things that, other than things that came from Mr. Waldman, correct?
I haven't seen all the. I haven't seen all. That was. I was just
No,
looking at what.
wait, is
L'Oreal-
he about to go
what
for 5?
L'Oreal discussed and what L'Oreal
no.
said in their
No, no,
communications.
no.
They made, do you see L'Oreal make a word cloud of the words that were most commonly associated with Ms. Heard in its marketing campaigns?
I knew they did that. I didn't see it myself, actually.
Do you know what words there were?
Again, no.
We're about to find out. Here we go. Tee it up. Let's go for 5. He's getting out the list.
You didn't talk much about this, but in order to get to the damage analysis that you got,
Please.
the $45 million, I think at least initially you suggested that Ms. Heard would have a role producing and starring in a movie, and that she would make $12 million.
I've talked about that, but in the latest calculation, that was really less what I considered and more about what films and TV and endorsement deals that she would do. The producing was something that she had wanted to do, and again, Mr. Momoa got that, so that's where the agents were discussing those figures with me.
The last movie that she has a production credit for is in 2013, right?
Again, I haven't memorized her resume.
It was a movie called Syrup.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever hear of it?
No. Aside from having probably seen it on her IMDb.
And Soon the Darkness.
Expert,
that's her
by
other
the way.
production credit, right?
She's an expert in this.
If you say so. If you're reading it
Professional
off of her
witness.
resume, I will believe you, yes.
Yeah.
2010,
Okay.
12 years ago. But you, at least
Shit.
at some portion of at some point
He's right.
in this analysis, were of the mind that
Lawyer knows more than
she
the
would
expert? Yeah.
recover $12 million with a producing role and a starring role in a movie? Because that's what Mr. Momoa got.
Again, the agents were just saying that those were the kinds of numbers they were looking at to help her as she moved forward in her producing career.
Right. Those are the kind of the numbers the agents would like her to get.
Yeah.
Right, but again, I
It's a little
didn't
bit
use that in the
different.
final analysis of my $45 million. So
Yeah.
it was just a discussion point because that's what the agents wanted me to consider.
Sure. I bet they did. Absolutely.
All right. You have testified that the breakout role for Miss Heard was Aquaman, right?
I didn't
would
say
say
the
that's
breakout
true.
role, but I used it as this, a movie that it was a superhero
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was a big deal.
super box office success. I think that some of her other critically acclaimed movies probably helped her break into that role, which would have been The Danish Girl, and then her work in Justice League, which was a natural progression to getting to star in Aquaman.
All right. But I used breakout. Perhaps you didn't. But this is the movie that springboards her to the kind of money that you are suggesting she should earn.
It should have, yes.
That's what it seems like. Absolutely.
And other than Aquaman, which was released in 2018, how many movies has she booked?
Well, she booked Aquaman 2,
Right.
and she did The Stand, which was a significant television show.
Uh-huh.
Right. But outside of the Aquaman franchise, she obtained only one movie role, since 2018, right?
That's one way to look at
Right,
it.
the industry also knows that she's planned to be on the next movie, and they understand her production schedule, so she's not going to go after films that would conflict with a mega box office movie. So there's scheduling and conflict issues as well that she and her team would consider.
So when was Aquaman released in 2018?
Uh-huh. I don't remember.
December.
It was either December 2018, and then it depends on where it was in the world. It started in December 2018, and then it moved out, into 2019.
How many months between December 2018 and the Waldman statements went by?
Oh, 12, I think, 15 or 16, if my math.
Okay.
She got one role during that 15 or 16-month period, during the entirety of the post-Aquaman boost, right?
She got Stand,
Right.
and then she was in discussions for the films as they were getting ready to go.
Okay.
But she didn't get another role for 16 months between the release of Aquaman and what you say are the Waldman statements.
Well, she got the Stand,
Right. She got one TV role.
Wow.
a pretty significant TV role, yes, for a Stephen King novel.
Right.
There's a lot of
She
those.
was in a movie, though.
I'm sorry?
She was in a movie that was released after Aquaman.
Oh, really?
What movie are you referring to?
Gully.
Oh, well, I don't know when that was shot, so you'd have to tell me when it was shot. Movies get released
She's
at
the
different
expert.
time frames.
By- guys,
it can be
she is the
shot
expert
in
on this.
2016 and not get released till 2018. So
Yeah.
you'd have to tell me. We'd have to look
Yeah,
at
she's the expert.
the actual filming dates of.
She
Gully
knows
for
about
me to
this.
talk to you about that.
She wasn't initially cast in Gully, was she?
I'm not familiar with the casting process of Gully.
All right. Do you know who Alice Eve is?
Who?
Alice Eve.
Alice Eve. Sounds familiar, but I'm not recalling who she is. at
She's
this
an
moment.
actress, been in any number of movies. You don't know who she is?
Again, I know her name, but
You don't know who
her
she,
resume.
like how he
She
asked
was in
her.
Star Trek.
Great.
Right. She was in one of those breakout roles, Star Trek.
Oh my
But
God! Great.
you don't even know who she is.
I talked to you about Star Trek before. I'm not a big Star Trekian.
Okay.
Star Trekian.
Ms. Heard replaced
Jesus
Alice
Christ.
Eve in the movie Gully, right?
I don't know the casting process. I don't know who starred in that movie.
Do you know what she was paid?
How much?
Ms. Heard.
For Gully?
Yeah.
Can you tell me when that was in? No, I don't. But what was the filming date of, and what was the start date of Gully?
You didn't look at the Gully contract when you were making an analysis of
Oh
Ms. Heard's
my
damages?
God!
I don't recall whether I looked at it or not.
So that's a no.
Did you understand that she was making $2,190 per week for Gully?
Can you tell me when it was shot? When does that contract get
That's
negotiated?
not a lot of money. Lazy
relevant.
thinks it's $10.
The contract is negotiated prior to the release of Aquaman.
Okay.
So she signs this contract
Uh-huh.
for $2,190. Is there do you know what the Screen Actors Guild low budget agreement minimum scale is?
Oh no.
It changes from year to year. It depends on what year and what the size of
Boy,
the budget.
thanks
There's
for
actually
talking
3 or 4 different scale, benchmarks.
Oh,
so
no.
When there's a low budget, it can
I
be
wonder-
a micro budget. It can be a minimum budget. At low budget, there's like 4 or
I
5 different
wonder-
scales that they use when it gets to anything other than a studio film.
It's $21.90.
And oftentimes actors do passion projects, and that has nothing to do with, or something that they really love to do, or they think that would be good for the career. It doesn't have anything to do with the fee made on the
Mega
film.
budget, yeah.
All right.
How much? Let us know. He's getting it ready.
What's a loan out?
A loan out? A loan out is the corporation that an actor will use so that their money comes in through a corporation, and then that corporation technically loans out the actor's services to the production. So
Oh,
the loan
it's
out
for
is the
taxes.
corporation that the actor uses, and then they loan out the services to the production company.
Yeah.
It's just really for tax purposes.
That,
Do you know of any movie that Ms. Heard booked immediately prior to Aquaman other than Gully?
Well, I know she did Justice League. I
Besides
don't
that,
remember the dates and times of the filming of the other ones. You always have to look at the filming dates.
You talked about
Gully
Mr.
has
Schnell.
1.7 IMDb.
Gully was in his chart, right?
1.7 out of like what, 1.8?
I don't remember where Gully was.
Right.
Because you have no idea about it.
Did you look closely at his chart?
Pardon?
Did you look closely at his chart?
At Mr. Schnell's chart?
Yeah.
I looked at the numbers with respect to the social media campaigns is what I was looking at
It's
Mr.
a 10.
Schnell for.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Do you know
Oh.
whether any of the dates of the Waldman statements even appear in Mr. Schnell's chart?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
You talked a little bit about Q scores and Mr. Banya. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Did you get nervous? Yeah.
For Ms. Heard, Mr. Banya used Q scores from immediately after Aquaman, right?
Again, if you want to show me something, I can answer it. I don't remember every word of Mr. Banya's, but I remember talking about the dates with you earlier.
All right. But you don't know as you sit here today whether the Q scores that Mr. Banya used were after Aquaman but before the Waldman statements?
He used a couple different scores based on dates. I don't remember if they were correlated to the statements or not. I remember years more than anything else. Again, I looked at thousands and thousands of pages of documents, so I don't remember exactly what his said.
Okay.
Even before the Waldman statements, Ms. Heard had very high negative Q scores. Isn't that correct?
Very negative high Q scores?
No, very high negative Q
As
scores.
I said, very high negative Q scores. I remember discussions of a lot of Q scores. I don't remember exactly what or when, which score, or whether it was net.
So in your analysis, you didn't consider
IQ, yeah.
Ms. Heard's negative Q scores as a restraint on what she might earn on a going forward basis?
That's true?
No, Q scores change all the time. Ms. Heard's IMDb score has been 1, and it's been 300. Mr. Depp's Q score has been 1, and it's been 253. You know, Q scores change all the time. Scores change all the time. They're based on current events and movie releases.
Uh-huh.
You talked a little bit about Mr. Depp's damages.
Uh-oh.
Did you talk, who's Jerry Bruckheimer?
Who's Jerry Bruckheimer? The producer of the Pirates franchise. Well, he's a huge producer of a lot of movies, but he happens to be the producer of the Pirates franchise.
You didn't talk to him prior to your testimony?
Personally, no.
No. And you didn't have other people talk to him on your behalf, did you?
Me personally, no. I did not talk to
Ah.
Mr. Bruckheimer.
And you've never spoken with Mr. Bruckheimer about why Mr. Depp has not appeared in a 6 pirate movie?
There has been no 6 pirate movie. There is not a Pirates movie titled Pirate 6 yet.
Right.
Or
Right.
ever.
But you haven't talked to Mr. Bruckheimer as to whether Mr. Depp was going to appear in the movie?
From things that I've read in newspaper publications and emails,
Just
I've
like
read that
Aquaman
Mr.
3,
Bruckheimer was
yeah.
uncertain whether Mr. Depp would star in.
Right. But you haven't talked to him. And you've never spoken with Sean Bailey about this, right?
No.
Or anyone at Disney?
I actually put a call into somebody at Disney, and they didn't want to talk on the record.
Or you called somebody at Disney and they didn't want to talk to you?
No, again, as I said, studios don't want to talk about their stars, whether they want to preserve a relationship that may or may not be used in the future. So it's their tendency not to talk about
Okay.
people they
Yeah,
are
of
in
course.
business
That makes
So
sense.
you have no personal knowledge why Mr. Depp hasn't made a 6 pirate movie?
with. Well, as I said, there is no 6 pirate movie.
Right. But you don't know why. You have no personal knowledge why.
I don't work at Disney now.
Did you listen to
Isn't
Mr.
that something?
Wiggum's testimony in this trial?
I read Mr. Wickham's testimony.
Yeah.
And Mr. Wiggum said
It's hard to watch,
Mr. Depp
yeah.
had a deal
It's-
for the movie, right?
It's not good.
I think Mr. Wickham did. The other agent, Mr. Carino, said he did not. And as there is no as there is no Pirates movie, there have been no deals negotiated, and that's what Ms. Jacobs also testified to.
But Mr. Wiggum testified to something.
It doesn't correlate, as we say, to the other two agents' testimony.
Oh my God.
You've indicated
Jesus,
that
man.
a portion of the reason that Mr. Depp has received negative, has received a variety of negative comments in Hollywood is that he engages in lawsuits.
One of the elements that has contributed to a lot of negative press and attention is due to the lawsuits, and the activity and the behaviors that we talked about earlier have been brought into the limelight.
Mr. Depp's lawsuit here has generated negative publicity for Ms. Heard, correct?
That's true.
Yes.
That lawsuit, until she's filed a counterclaim, didn't relate to the Waldman statements, did it?
Mr. Depp's lawsuits?
Yeah.
No, we talked about that. It was pertaining to her op-ed piece.
Right. It related to what
Pardon?
Ms. Heard said.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Mr. Depp's lawsuit relates to what Ms. Heard said and not to what Mr. Waldman said.
It related to the op-ed piece that Ms. Heard wrote.
Right. So Mr. Waldman's statements have no connection to the negative publicity that Ms. Heard has received relative to this trial, correct?
Oh,
Objection
no.
calls for speculation, foundation,
Oh,
hearsay,
no.
and outside the scope.
Any response?
We're looking for a causal connection here.
Sustain the objection. Next question.
When was the last time you met with Ms. Heard?
I only met Ms. Heard at lunch today.
Okay, that's the first time you talked to her.
First time I met her.
Okay. What's your compensation for testifying here today?
Ooh.
For a testimony, it's $650 an hour.
What has been your compensation to date for providing the assistance that you have in this case?
There's a lot of people here
I've
probably
been
thinking
working
I
on
should
the
be an
case for
extra
about
witness.
3 years, and
Okay, over 3 years, how much? I bet $400,000.
over the 3 years, I believe it's around $60,000.
That's
You
it?
said 60?
Yeah, over 3 years.
All right. I have no further questions.
All right, redirect.
Thank you,
That's
Your
it?
Honor. I'm going to make it definitely fit within that 530.
Okay.
Ms.
3
Arnold,
years,
you were
yeah.
asked a number of questions about the different social media, the negative, and how do you know that it relates to the Waldman Depp statements? Do you recall all those questions?
Yes.
Okay. The social media that was connected, and some of that was your testimony, some Jessica Kovacevic, and some of it was Mr. Schnell, actually tracked the language from the 3 statements from Waldman, correct?
Objection leading.
Sustain.
Okay. What, if any,
God, you're not going to finish them in the last 10 minutes,
efforts were
are you?
made to track the negative social media that caused the damages that you've attributed?
Objection leading.
Please don't let her do anything.
Overruled.
So L'Oreal did a lot of research. William Morris did a lot of research. Mr. Schnell did a lot of research. And in those conversations, those were also connective tissues to the negative social media campaign and the Waldman statements.
And they connected back to those 3 statements, correct?
Yes.
Objection leading.
And what, if any, connection did they have to those 3 statements?
Again, we talked about this earlier. We talked about some of the hashtags being similar. We talked about the Waldman or the Waldminion. So there were a lot of connective tissues between the negative social media campaigns and the Waldman statements.
And I'm going to jump because I think this is part of this. So you were asked some questions about Mr. Hamada. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And asked whether he testified that, whether anything Mr. Depp said or anything Mr. Waldman said had anything to do with their initial decision not to exercise the option to Aquaman 2. Do you recall that testimony? Or that, those questions?
Just said it.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the testimony from Mr. Schnell tracked the 1.2 million tracers to January 2021, correct?
Objection leading.
Do you remember what month that was until?
Right, so when Mr. Schnell did his analysis, it was from April of 2020 to January 2021.
And when did Warner Brothers tell Amber Heard and her agents they were not exercising her Aquaman 2 contract?
It was in February of 2021.
All right. And what, if anything, did Mr. Hamada say about whether the reason they did that was because of the 1.2 million negative social media tweets and Instagrams and,
They probably
and
didn't
other
say anything about
communications
it.
Objection, no foundation.
had any impact?
Sustained. Next question.
Are you aware of whether he said anything about that?
Oh, no.
I recall in the Warner Brothers file.
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
Oh, my God.
Do you know whether that had any impact?
Objection, hearsay.
Just waits for
I'm
her
asking
to
now,
talk.
she's allowed to rely on hearsay.
Sustain the objection. Next question.
Oh, my God.
All right, you were asked a whole lot of questions about the different comparables. And so I'm just gonna go to this, again, of
That's
all the
3.
different movies, of all of those comparables, which movie was the highest grossing of all of them?
Uh-huh.
Again, I believe it's Aquaman. I mean, everybody talks about Aquaman being one of the highest, if not the highest grossing films. Certainly the highest DC comic film or in that superhero world. But
Spider-Man
again,
made more money.
I don't want to say it was the highest, but I think it was very close to it.
Spider-Man made more.
Do you know whether Walter Hamada admits it was
I
the
think.
highest grossing DC film?
Yes, he said that, yes.
Okay, so when you're looking at all the comparables, what if any relevance is
DC?
there
Okay.
to
I
the
didn't
degree
realize
of
it-
success
Wait.
of that DC superhero movie?
Objection.
I thought she was comparing
foundation.
to the other actors.
She can speak to that, Your Honor.
Like
That's
Zendaya
foundation.
and all that.
Do you know the answer to that question? Do you know?
I was confused.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
I forgot it now, I have to admit. Okay, so let's go backwards. So what if, do you know whether it makes a difference, whether how successful that DC superhero movie is in what types of films they'll be able to get in the future?
Objection, foundation.
I'm asking the foundation.
If you want to ask the foundation, go ahead.
I'm sorry, that's what I thought I was asking. Do you know whether that plays any role, the degree of success?
Customarily, when a film,
Objection, foundation.
Ask her how she knows.
How do you know?
in 20, 25 years of being in the film industry, it's
Oh my
customary
God.
for when a movie does such an extraordinary amount at the box office, it shines a very bright light on the actors, especially if they're in lead roles. And it's customary that they will get, not customary, it is, I don't want to use the word standard, but it is very frequent that a star in a movie that has performed so well at the box office and with a role model character that Mira was, that she would have gotten other roles and worked
Role model.
quite a bit afterwards, and that movie would have helped her
Focus
career.
on
I mean, that's
the word
no
model.
question.
And with all these
The only thing that
comparables, when you gave the range to this jury of 45 to 50 million in estimating this over this period of time, did you put Amber Heard's estimated damages ranges above all those other comparables?
No, again, I was very specific in using the actual negotiated rates that Ms. Heard's agents were able to get for her in that contract and use
sure.
that as a precedent. So again, I always wanted to be grounded in what Ms. Heard actually was in contract for and what her agents negotiated. And I used that as the baseline for the financial numbers of her loss. I used the comparable actors to show how consistently they all worked
Okay.
and how their careers moved forward after being in a box office.
Okay.
You were asked about Disney and the Pirates 6 again. What, if any, knowledge do you have of whether Disney is willing to pay Mr. Depp $300 million and 1 million alpacas?
Objection, no foundation.
Oh, here we go with the
I'm asking her,
alpacas
what, if
again.
anything, does she know about whether Disney is,
If you can lay a foundation.
okay.
Okay,
Did
great.
did you listen to or did you read the Disney testimony in this case?
I did, yes.
All right.
And
What do you recall Disney saying about whether they were willing to pay Mr. Depp $300 million and give him 1 million alpacas?
they
They
have
would not be willing to pay $300 million and give him alpacas.
Thank you.
how many?
You were asked about the defecation. What, if any, recollection or knowledge do you have about whether that social media negative campaign that you've testified had the words defecation in it or poop?
Objection, no foundation.
It didn't.
I know that the word poop and the hashtag poop is used.
Okay. Was
What-
that in any of the
Move to
ones you
strike.
found?
Sustain the objection, move to strike.
Yep,
Next
it's
question.
done.
Okay. In your review of the social
Say it,
media
say it.
campaigns
Oh,
and the
man.
negative social media
Damn
campaigns
it,
that
man.
you testified to with this jury, that include the L'Oreal, that include the WME, that include Mr. Schnell, and include what you've done, what, if any, recollection do you have of how many of those that are influencing your connections to the defamation statements include the words poop or defecation?
Objection.
They're using the wrong word.
I don't
She's
believe
using the
poop was
wrong
one of the
word.
hashtags that was connected to the statements.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it wasn't poop or defecation. It was another one. Say it.
You were asked
I want her
about
own
the
lawyers
time
to say
period
it.
between the defamatory
Please.
statement, between the release of Aquaman 2 in December 2018.
Aquaman 1.
Aquaman 1, thank you, and the defamatory statements that were in April 2020 and June 2020. Do you recall that testimony?
I remember that questioning, yes.
Okay. During that time, were you aware of whether Aquaman 2 was in discussions with Amber Heard about scheduling the filming of Aquaman 2?
In the period between the statements and,
Before. I'm going before.
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
talking about the period of time when they released Aquaman 1
oh, okay.
and the April 8th, first of the defamatory
Shit,
statements.
dude.
Right.
Do you know whether Warner Brothers was in discussions already with Amber Heard about scheduling her for Aquaman 2?
Objection, hearsay.
Do you know? I'm asking her whether you know.
I'll sustain as the hearsay.
Okay. Do you have knowledge of whether Aquaman was in discussions with Amber during that period?
Objection, hearsay.
Nah,
I don't know how to.
I
I'm
don't
asking
know.
her
Ask her
foundation.
I don't know.
Right.
Uh-oh, she got 1
how
minute
would
on the
you know?
clock.
Well, Amber received an early draft of the script. Amber's agents were in discussions.
Objection,
Yeah.
hearsay.
I think she can say that.
Sustained.
Okay. What is, in your experience, based on getting scripts, what does that mean?
It's
Speaking for
5:30.
experience.
In my experience with a movie as
It's
high profile as something
5:30.
like Aquaman, they keep the scripts very tight. You know, they don't let anybody read them. They're numbered. They have your name on them.
Time's up.
So if you're getting a script for a movie such as Aquaman that's kept tightly close to the vest, if you will, by the studio, you are going to, they want you to be in the movie. Otherwise, they would never give you the script.
Okay.
And so if a script was given to
Ding,
Amber
ding,
Heard
ding. Yep, let's
before
go.
the first April 8, 2020 defamatory statement, what would that suggest?
Objection,
Based on your knowledge that you've just testified to.
Objection, speculation.
It's not speculation. Your Honor.
Overruled.
Again, if she got the script, they were going to use her in the movie. That was their plan.
I've had this on mute for ages.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is this witness subject to recall?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so you're still an expert, so you can have a seat in
Okay.
the courtroom.
I'm still
sorry.
working.
Okay,
Okay,
you are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Uh-oh, she might be
All
back.
right, ladies and gentlemen, let's come to the end of our day.
Let's just-
Holy
So-
shit.
I hope she's not
Nothing
back.
outside
That's
research
ridiculous.
tonight,
Oh
and,
my
don't talk to anybody
God.
about the case, okay? And we'll see you in the morning,
Oh
bright and
my
early at 9
god.
o'clock, right? Okay, thank you.
What a fucking day. What an expert, guys. Wow.
Fuck.
What a fucking expert.
She was a useless dick.
I can't believe that. Kept it close to the vest. Proceeds to spoil the movie in public court of law. What? I mean, they gotta do it. That's what it is.
No,
You're
not spoiling
gonna
movies in it. It's
surprised?
bullshit.
Yes, he was. Dude, that guy.
Just a few planning notes, okay?
Oh, here we go.
After testimony tomorrow, and we excuse the jury, we'll go ahead and have the proffers that you requested, Mr. Rottenborn. We'll do those tomorrow after. Is that okay?
Okay.
Does that sound good? All right, we'll do those right after, like right now, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That should give you with all with the proffers that you need to do for the
Rottenborn.
record.
I mean, how
okay?
do you go with somebody
All
named
right,
that?
and then whenever all the testimony is done, possibly at this point it would be Thursday afternoon after the jury is excused. We'll go over the remaining jury instructions. I have 3 under
That's
advisement.
like the
We'll pick up
antagonist
those,
in a
and
Tim
we'll
Burton
also,
film.
if there's any other from the evidence
It's
this
like
week that we need
Rottenborn.
to
Oh, Jesus.
talk about, we can discuss those as well after the jury's gone on Thursday evening,
Oh
or
my
if earlier
God.
if the evidence is done before then. Okay, and just as time's up to this minute, the plaintiff has used 45 hours and 24 minutes.
Ooh.
The defendant has used 57 hours and 6 minutes, which means the plaintiff has left 15 hours,
left.
and 51 minutes, and the defendant has 4 hours and 9 minutes left.
Oh, 4.
Okay? So that's where we're at.
Jesus.
All right, anything else for this evening?
That is not
Your
looking
Honor,
good.
the last witness, it appears that is on the plaintiff's witness list is Mr. Depp, and I was just hoping we would get an
You
answer
mean
as to what.
defendant's witnesses?
Yeah, defendant's witness list.
I don't know.
was
Are you
hoping
still
to get an answer.
changing witness? I'm not sure. Okay. Bacon
We have
decision
no
at the
idea what
morning,
we're
okay?
doing.
All right, everybody have a good evening.
Okay. Oh man. Like, yep, they're gonna bring him back on the stand, which is smart. I think that makes sense.
No,
Obviously, it
not even
does.
slightly.
I am just so fucking shocked about that. Like, that lawyer is fucking savage.
He's awesome.
Like, holy shit. Like, he was the wizard deleter. It doesn't matter what you're an expert on. He's gonna make you look like you're not a fucking expert on whatever it is.
I made it look like
my
a
God.
clown.
And he had to go in with another one. I wonder, yeah, somebody said, like, their goal shouldn't be to win the case. It should be to make Amber's team say
Straight
Amber
ahead.
turd. Like, that's it. That's all they should do. Someone brought up Hackers to Camille and Ben. Yeah, I saw that. Somebody tweeted it at me. I saw the picture. I did.
Honestly, it was
Holy
fucking hilarious.
shit,
Right.
man. Like, that guy, like, he
I gotta
just-
say,
especially
big thanks
the
to
first
Asmogold
guy.
for letting us
Like,
do
the-
this.
like, this guy
I'm gonna
right
leave you
here-
now. I'll
Oh
speak to you
my
later.
God. This was
One
just-
second.
This was fucking savage, man. Like, I don't know
How do I
if
make
I've
this
ever
stop?
seen somebody get owned on this level. It was awful.
Right, there we go. So that was the part of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. That was fucking nuts. Unfortunately, I had my fucking speaker off for a percentage of it. I'm going to go join Discord now, in case anyone wants to come in and say hi, say hello to the bread makers and food. I think I accidentally turned off Frost because he was trying to talk as well. I don't know what the hell happened. I must have hit... There's like a mute thing underneath my shoulder that I hit by accident. There you go. The Discord's open if anyone wants to come in. It's right there. You can come and join me on that. But yeah, that was fucking crazy. That was absolutely nuts. I enjoyed that. They had the expert on who was supposed to be talking about how much money Amber Heard should have made if there hadn't been any problems with her contract. Now, she kept citing people like Jason Momoa, the woman that was in Wonder Woman, and even the main guy who actually ended up being Star Trek fucking Captain Kirk from the new movies. And then the fucking guy made her look like a complete and utter tool, as if she didn't know what the fuck was going on. It was truly genius. I just loved every minute of it. Normally, I won't watch something like that, because, you know, it's bullshit. It's literally a court case. But with so many people watching the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp one now, I had to go and watch it. And that was just truly phenomenal. Her entire literary team seems like they don't know what they're doing. When it started out, the woman made it seem like she was doing okay and put forward loads of arguments, but then once Johnny Depp's team got hold of the witness, it just came to light how retarded and stupid she overall was. Good God. So I'm going to do this again tomorrow when it starts up again, and watch the cross-examinations as well, because, you know, that was fucking hilarious. I hope you can come and join us. You know, feel free to jump into Discord and say hi. if you're not at work, that is, because I know sometimes you do work, and I'm not sure where Frosty is, and I don't know if Wolf is conscious either. But thanks to everyone who popped in and watched me do that. You have to let us know if you enjoyed it or not. It's just one of the new things I thought I'd try. I'm going to stop streaming, but stay in Discord, so you're more than welcome to come and chat to us, as I will be in there. Thanks for watching. Bye.